Thanks for tuning in to this special Halloween episode of Old Ass Movie Reviews. Today it is Killer Bunnies with Night of the Lepus.
Hey, I went for a walk on the beach today before we started the podcast. It was very nice. There's
Nice.
just very relaxing to have your feet in the water, the waves hitting your feet. A couple of great whites out there eating people. It's awesome.
Oh, that's always
I like
awesome.
to watch it. Well, not the people being eaten, but the waves. It looks the yellow flags were up, so that means the hurricanes are out there in the water floating around someplace.
Very cool.
When's the last time you were at the beach?
Dude, 10, 11 years?
Yeah, it was over 20 years for me. Over 20 years. I didn't realize how close I was to the beach. You just go over the bridge to Perdido, and boom, you're right there.
That's fucking
amazing.
awesome.
It's a completely different world.
Yeah, I like it. I just don't like people, so...
That's why I walk past them.
Yeah.
I go out to the beach, I walk past them, I get to where nobody's at, and I sit there and look at the water and go, that's very pretty. And then I look at my watch and I go, oh, time to go home, and I walk back. I'm not one to build sandcastles or anything. I just like to go for a walk.
Were there any jellyfish?
Yeah, look for the jellyfish and put them on toast. It burns. Yeah. But hey, did you see anything that we're not reviewing today? Have you watched any new movies that you like to talk about?
I finished Cobra Kai on Netflix.
Oh yeah, how's that?
Fucking awesome. That's my review. Fucking awesome. Watch it.
Really?
Yes.
I'm gonna have to watch it now.
You have to. It is so damn good. I can't wait for season 3 now. It is.
Oh, they're gonna have a season 3.
Yes, season 3 coming next year.
Oh, nice.
It's apparently already filmed, ready to go. This show is so full of surprises and so much nostalgia. It is, without giving much away, they've kind of flipped things around, and you actually give a shit about Johnny now. And you get to see
That's what I heard.
You get to see the story from Johnny's eyes, and it's almost like he and Daniel and Johnny have flipped places, and and now their kids are involved, and it's so freaking cool.
No, that's cool. I've heard that. I've heard that they kind of did the flip flop, and I like the thought of that.
It is really good. They're short, 30-minute episodes. They're funny as hell. Great music, and if you're a fan of the Karate Kid movies, you'll absolutely love this series.
Cool.
I don't have a bad thing to say about it.
I watched, and I'm almost through with Little Witches Academy. It's an anime that's on Netflix right now.
I remember you talking about that.
I think there's only 2 seasons. I really enjoyed this one. It's a little girl who goes to a witch's academy and has no witch ability. She's got no magical ability whatsoever. And I don't know how she got into the academy, but it's very cute. It's very Miyazaki-esque.
Really?
So I'm curious as to whether the animators and the directors and them were part of his studio at one point or not. I don't know, but it's it just kind of has that feel for me. It's very cute, very friendly, very funny. Her worst enemies are one of her roommates that likes her, so it's very cute. It's a good story. If anybody likes anime and likes stuff that doesn't get too weird, this is a really fun anime for me to watch.
That's cool. It's nice to just watch something that's so different than anything reality based. So you can just damn it, in 2020 we just have to unplug. Have a little brief moment of sanity and relaxation.
Speaking of 2020, I watched Fiddler on the Roof the other day. Now, it is one of my favorite musicals just because of Topol. I mean, anytime Topol starts singing If I Were a Rich Man, I just go into, my Hasidic ancestry and start doing the dance.
Huh?
But but I just started thinking, oh my God, that's a 2020 point in time when all the Jews are being pushed out of their villages in Russia. I'm like, that could be now.
I have never seen it.
You've never seen it?
No,
I think it's 3 hours, but it's 3 hours that goes by really quick.
I
It really
will.
does. It goes by faster, probably goes by faster than the 3 hours for Samurai
Oh, okay.
because they're singing.
Yeah, I'm down. There's if you haven't figured out, there's a lot I haven't seen once we
Yeah,
started this. I'm an avid video gamer. I spend most of my time playing video games and soaking up the narrative storylines in there.
yeah,
So movies, even though I love creating movies, acting movies, working on movies, I haven't seen much.
right,
So it's
right.
this is what's been cool about what we're doing. Um,
Well, which is very funny because I don't do video games.
right.
I mean, I do occasionally. Like I think the last video game I bought was PlayStation 2. I'm just not a video gamer. I just don't.
Right.
And people are always asking me, "You need to find this game." I'm like, "No, I don't."
You either are or you're not.
Yeah,
It's just how it is. Some people prefer to read books over watching movies. Others watch movies over books. Some do both.
there you go. I just
Yeah.
finished a Terry Pratchett book
Nice.
called The Truth, and it's very funny. It's just about the press and the versions of the truth and
Mm,
what people think is the truth as
very
opposed to what
timely.
is the truth. Yeah, and Terry Pratchett's very funny. It's a
Yeah.
Discworld saga. He's a
Okay.
British writer. Have you ever heard of Terry Pratchett?
I have. He has been recommended to me numerous times.
I
And have I
highly,
read him? No.
dude, you will laugh. You will laugh your rear end off because you and I think, have the same type of sensibility and
Right.
sense of humor. So I think getting into a Terry Pratchett book, you can see all the nuances of not is it just humor, but he's making political statements. He's making religious statements. He's just like philosophical statements in general. But he keeps it all very light, very humorous. He never beats you over the head with his point of view. Because even after I've read all these books by him, I have no idea what his point of view is on anything.
Well, that's cool, and that's what I appreciate. I appreciate even in my movies, my
uh,
video games, my books. I like a creative narrative. I
good,
understand
right,
any creator, even an artist who paints, your beliefs and your political views and your upbringing and your history is going to
mhm,
shine through in one way or the other,
right,
whether you intend to or not. But when it's done and the audience is left to infer that on their own and come to
right.
their own conclusions, that's when I love it. Otherwise, it feels like I'm watching an episode of Supergirl where they swing with the hammer and
Yeah,
say message, and I
yeah,
don't need a message. I
yeah.
need to enjoy.
Which is why I stopped watching most television. I
Mm-hmm.
really have. I mean, it's just like, yeah,
It is.
give me
It's
a
lazy.
cartoon. Give me Scooby Doo.
I find it lazy. It's like, okay, I've
Yeah,
been given millions of dollars. I can push my agenda. Hey, dude, that's great. You got an agenda and you have a
hmm,
cause, but you got that much money. Let's make it creative. Let's make people
yeah,
think they came up with that on their own, not have it shown and shoved in their face.
yeah.
And
And I think that's with anybody, with anybody trying to get a narrative across.
yeah,
Just
any
tell a
medium,
story. Just tell a good story.
and
Whatever
it'll
your point
shine
is,
through.
just tell a good story and let it go. Speaking of that,
Tell a good story.
the good story, bunnies. I mean, let's
Yeah.
talk about bunnies.
All right. So hey, let's fire this sucker off.
How'd you like that segue?
It's perfect. I like bunny segues. Uh, you just hopped right into it. Uh, but
Well, I've shaved my hair.
oh yeah, my hair is getting a little long.
Uh,
Welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews. I have no idea what episode number we're up to, but it's been a few. This is the Halloween month, and we are wrapping up Halloween with Night of the Lepus. Wild rabbits giving a hormone that was supposed to stop them made them grow big and bad and homicidal. And holy shit, I got a lot to talk about in this movie. But first off, Dave, what you got to say about the wild bunnies?
oh, giant bunnies. Giant bunnies. The first thing I could say about giant bunnies is this movie had a release by MGM, Metro Goldwyn Mayer. Wow. I'm assuming this is a big drive-in movie.
Yeah,
This is
but
a
look at the
movie they made
cast.
to lose money so they could get out of paying taxes or something.
I
I
mean, but
don't.
they paid a
Oh,
lot in this movie. And just the casting alone, Janet
oh yeah,
Leigh, damn it, DeForest Kelley, Rory Calhoun.
yeah,
There were some big names.
yeah. I mean, those Rory Calhoun had a long career as a cowboy. DeForest Kelley, before he became known as McCoy, was
Mhm.
always playing heavies in cowboy movies and television shows.
Right.
He was always the bad guy until he got McCoy's part. You know, he was always the guy in the black hat that slapped you in the bar. You know. But yeah, wow, bunnies, giant man-eating bunnies. Uh, do you? I took notes.
Oh, I got notes.
My
Lord, do I have
first,
notes.
I'm going to hit you with my first bullet point. The opening, a very planned Nine from Outer Space opening. The guy at the news desk reading,
Yes.
telling you what's going to happen and what's
Yes.
happening. It's like, wow, really?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Criswell.
Yeah. Let me, with that opening, um, and showing the footage and stuff, as I had a hard time with this movie as an animal lover and somebody who loves animals more than I do people.
Well, that's easy.
Yeah, it's
Let's
real
face it.
easy,
It's
and
easy to like
I think
animals.
I think honestly that's where this movie had its biggest problem. They chose rabbits,
Choose
cute
a bunny.
rabbits. Who doesn't want to hug a bunny? If
I'm
they'd have
sorry,
been
I got something in
rats,
my eye.
you know,
Bunnies. Oh, man-eating bunnies.
oh Christ,
I mean, of all
uh,
the animals they could have chose, you're right. They chose like the worst animal to.
a cute rabbit. This was screaming for Monty Python references throughout our entire review.
I
I'm not even
know,
going there.
and It's so obvious. I won't even go with the gnashing teeth.
Yeah, as close as it got was a sheriff at one point. Hold on, they had teeth this long.
What? What? What I think is funny is nobody really blinked. Nobody like when they told the sheriff, "Hey, giant bunnies are killing people." They were like, "Really? Well, we better do something about it." Nobody
Let's call the
blinked.
National
Nobody was like,
Guard.
"Are you high? No, what kind of drugs are you on, man?"
What are you growing on your ranch?
Yeah, right.
Oh my God! Yeah, the right after it started, and the rancher calls or goes to find his contacts, people he knows, to try and do something because he wants to do the right thing. He doesn't want to poison the rabbits because it will
Right.
destroy his land, and he raises cattle, and
Yeah, he
he's
wants
got
to
to be
do
able to.
a natural way of getting rid of them, like
Right.
you know.
So this is the part that I just have to laugh at. The health department sends a sample of some sort of serum, and he basically says, "I have no idea what it does. Fuck it, let's inject a rabbit."
not not just not that just did the two doctors in the lab. I wanted first off, the little girl got on my nerves right away. Like she just totally got on my nerves. Um,
Oh
but
yeah,
why? Why? One of my notes is why do they have the kid in the lab where they're doing experiments?
it's 1970. They didn't care.
I'm sure there had to have been some common sense even back in 19, what was it, 72 when this was made?
74, I think 70. I don't know what.
74?
It was early 70s.
But, uh,
I got something to say about that with that kid. That my next
uh,
bullet point was kids always fuck things up.
yeah, the whole problem is what she did when she took the one bunny out of the one cage, put it in the other cage, and took the bunny that had the experimental drug in it and put it in the cage to be released or whatever the hell.
Yeah,
And it's like, are you freaking kidding me? I like this bunny better, mommy.
you little
I'm
bitch.
I'm gonna have to kill you now. How many people did that little girl murder
Yeah, and it was
because
never
of this?
addressed. They
Yeah,
just like, oh well, something happened.
yeah, they don't even address that. They don't. The
No.
little kid, la 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 la. That I'm totally oblivious to what I just did. The slaughter of the humanity. Come on, buddy.
Yeah, Yeah, I see that a lot in a lot of books, a lot of games, a lot of movies. The kid always causes problems. I'm talking to you, Carl from Walking Dead. Um, every time, every time, it's oh my
Yeah.
god. There was a series on TNT, TBS, I don't know what channel, called The Strain. And it was about vampires. And of
Uh,
course, a young kid ends up nuking the entire city and destroying everything when a good ass beating in season one would have stopped it all.
right.
So it's always the kids. It's another one of those. Here's a trope. Let's make the kid cause it all because people will be sympathetic. No,
No,
no.
no, that kid's going down. I'm sorry. Oh, you're 9 years old and you called nuclear destruction? Sorry, you got to go down.
Yeah, it's over. It's over. I don't care who
It's
your
over for
daddy
you,
is.
kid.
Oh my God.
The
What's your
killer
next
bunnies
bullet
in
point?
the killer bunnies in the cave. He's taken a picture of the bunnies, and later on he shows the picture of the giant bunnies, but there's no size reference
No.
to anybody. Like, he's not standing next to one of them to show, look how big these forking things are. So whoever's looking at that picture just goes, oh my God, look at how big they are.
Yeah,
Well, what are you comparing that to? It's a bunny. I mean, as far as you know, that's just a bunny sitting on a little hillock. There's no,
exactly.
it's not like it's parked next to a truck.
That was one of the moments where I'm going to talk about that in a minute. They spent a lot on miniatures.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
I have notes on there too.
God, I appreciate that. That unlike some of the movies we've seen, while this is not a good movie,
Right.
they fucking tried. They tried to make these rabbits look big. There
Hmm.
was one time, and they only did it once, and I think it was because it didn't work very well. It would definitely work today, but they tried to superimpose the rabbits on next to a truck and
Yeah,
everything,
in
and it
front of the
was
truck. I noticed that. Yeah, yeah.
it actually had the damn fence was going through the rabbit.
Yeah, I noticed that too. But they tried.
They
They
tried,
tried.
and that's what I really appreciated. They spent a lot of money on these building the miniatures and trying to get
Hmm.
scale using perspective with the camera work and everything.
Right.
Sometimes it kind of worked, but
There was a time when they were doing that, and I it's further down on my notes, but there's a point where the bunnies are all jumping down the street, giant bunnies hopping towards the city. Anyway, but they took the camera and they kind of shook it a little bit
yeah,
for the like the vibration of all the bunnies. And I know that sounds strange, but it actually worked. You're like, okay, yeah, if you had 100 bunnies that were each 200 pounds or more, and they're all hopping down a highway, you're going to get a little bit of a shake, I think.
absolutely. They the problem with the bunny stampede was they used the same footage of that bunny stampede
Over and over.
over and over and over.
There was one miniature that did not work. I don't know if you noticed.
Which one?
The water tower. There was a water tower. Now, water towers for people who aren't like out in rural areas, water towers are
Pretty
pretty
damn
high
tall.
and pretty big.
Yeah.
And at one point, they had a miniature of the bunnies, and all the bunnies were almost as big as the water tower. And
Now
then in
that
the
would have made a
next
movie.
scene, they're only as big as like a fence or half a fence or whatever. They're as big as wolves. The sizes kept changing was the
They did.
problem.
They did. There was a few times that the perspective worked, and other times it's like,
Right,
I see tire tracks on the road that just shows me these rabbits are normal size, and
right,
then all of a
right,
sudden they're big again, and it's like,
right.
man, they
It's like
put
the,
forth that much effort.
yeah, yeah. It's like the Matthew Broderick Godzilla kept changing size.
Really,
Oh
I
yeah.
I'm
Oh
not
Lord, you
revisiting that
never
movie to
noticed
see that.
that?
No, it's been
Oh,
so long.
horrible, horrible. I mean, just the size differentiation in that damn dinosaur Godzilla, horrible Godzilla movie. Should have just been called the Monster That Ate New York. But he kept changing sizes too. At one point, his head is as big as a bus, and then the next point it's like even bigger, and then it goes back down to smaller. Um, He's running under the Brooklyn Bridge and he gets tangled up in the wires where, like, right before then, he would have never fit in the Brooklyn Bridge. It's just, yeah, that's bad. But the bunnies was, I noticed that with the one point they're as high as the horses, and then the next time they're like about as big wolves. Because that's
Yeah.
what they make mention of when they're in the cave. It's like, oh, they're as big as wolves, and I'm like, they're a lot bigger than that. I mean, because when they're running down the cave, they're taller than the humans at one point.
Yeah.
The miniature on the cave though was really good. I
It
have to admit,
was. That was well done.
that was a good match
Yeah.
for the guys running down the cave, and then all of a sudden you see the bunnies, and you're like, that's a pretty good miniature right there.
They did good with that.
Yeah,
And that's I'm going to give this movie a lot of grief, but you have to give them props for
yeah.
the miniature work.
Their model
Just
makers are good.
yeah, it it did help. It was very. Here's the thing: when we watch a movie today, there's no miniatures, and it's a shame because they're like, hey, I can just CGI this, and yes, if these had been CGI bunnies, this could have been freaking insane and intense.
I can't
But
believe you said that with a straight face.
it would have
CGI
been,
bunnies.
man. Big bunnies.
Big bunnies with
I'm
floppy ears.
I'm trying to avoid the references that are very obvious.
Right. Big bunny feet. Imagine the
Yeah.
luck you'd have with one of their feet.
Well, remember, the mom told the kid, make sure you rub all 4 feet for luck. Yeah, how'd that work out for you?
Yeah, good going, Mom.
Yeah, speaking of mom and the kid are leaving. They're trying to get someplace safe to avoid the herd of killer bunnies. And she's like, screw it. I'm just going to drive off this road into some loose gravel and get stuck. Well, that couldn't have been
Right.
more telegraphed.
I have a note of that too. You and I are watching the same movie for sure. You know what killed me about that scene is, these guys have been all over the country. Her and her
Yeah.
husband and her stupid kid that caused all the murder and death and mayhem. I've been all over the country, driving in all kinds of weather, all kinds of roads. And what did she do when she drove off the side of the road? She drove right into the gully, right in that gulch, right where that wheel would be perfectly stuck.
Yep.
Like 2 feet over, you could have just drove around it. She drives right into that thing.
Oh,
Like,
not only that, she waits I don't know, 2-3 hours before it gets dark and then decides now I'm gonna try and get out.
yeah, now I'm gonna dig. Now I'll dig. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon when I got stuck, but I'm gonna start digging it after the sun goes down at around 5:30, 6 o'clock at
Yeah,
that point.
yeah. Hours later. It's like what the hell? What
Oh,
good lord. Well, what's your next note since we seem to have the same ones?
oh God. No, you know what? Yeah, I do. Oh, why do the bunnies sound like lions?
They sounded weird, didn't they?
The funny, I mean,
Yeah.
they sounded like lions, and I couldn't get past it. Like, like
It
just
was
because they're bigger, they
weird.
should just make a bigger bunny sound, shouldn't they? What kind of sound does a bunny make?
Yeah, they sounded possessed.
Like
Demon
lions
bunnies?
or something, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Ah,
They growled. It was weird. I did love the close-ups on these cute little bunnies with their big gnashing teeth.
They had like fake blood smeared on their face. It's like, oh my God, those poor bunnies. They had no idea what the heck was going on.
All I can think of is there's a video on the internet of this white rabbit eating a strawberry. And he's just so bloody looking. And it's the cutest thing, but it's like, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, okay. What's your next note? Let's go with your notes here for a second.
The soundtrack. Why did I feel like I was watching a James Bond movie?
Yeah, there were a few notes. I wonder if the guy that was MGM didn't MGM release the James Bond movie
I think you may
initially?
be right.
I wonder
So
if it
they
was
had
the
some
same
leftover
orchestra and the
tracks
same
on the floor.
orchestra leader,
I don't know.
or they just looked at James Bond and went, "Screw it, we already paid for this music."
It did. It felt like some Bond movie
Yeah,
music.
there was a couple of moments. You're right.
It's like what the hell?
You're
Um,
absolutely right. I forgot about that.
I'm going to back up near the beginning of the movie with the truck driver who pulled off the side of the road.
I have a note that kind of goes with this, so go ahead.
Why? And why did he get out and say, open the back of his food truck? Did he need a snack? Was he hungry?
That made no sense.
I was like, what is going on? Why?
Because that cooler truck, there's nothing in the front, back in the 70s, I know for sure, there was nothing up in the front that told you the cooler was broken.
No.
And even if it was, you want to get to where you're going quick
And
to
he
get
wouldn't
the
be
stuff
opening the
out
back.
before it goes bad.
He would work on the actual refrigeration unit up front,
Right.
not.
Yeah. I looked at that and I was like, why the hell is he getting out of his vehicle? But the thing about that is, here's an addition. When they're looking and they find the dead body, and they're finding all these dead bodies
Oh,
initially,
yeah.
and everybody's like, it's got to be a saber-toothed tiger, it's got to be this, it's got to be that.
Why not?
There are no bunny droppings. Bunnies
Because
poop all the time,
they do. And
everywhere.
can you imagine being the set designer? I need 1,000 brown pillows.
Something freaking. I mean, those bunny droppings would be at least that big
Some bean
each.
bags. Just throw some bean bags out there. It'll
I mean, at least that would have given them a hint. Like, you know what? That's bunny droppings. No way. That thing. Look how big that thing is. There's no way that
it's
it's
this
10
big.
pounds easy. But there were no bunny droppings.
No, there were no dropping. They did have tracks at one point,
Yeah. And how did the
and
guy who knows wildlife not know what that track was? I mean, you
yeah,
might look at it and go, that looks like a bunny
but
track.
man, it's too big
No,
to be a bunny.
that's way too big to be a bunny track.
Oh my God.
I don't know why I found this movie so funny. It's so
Uh,
bad.
the drive-in when the National
Well, you're
Guard
getting
showed
towards the end of the movie, so yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
up.
Oh, the drive-in, yes.
The National Guard's there, and they get on the megaphone. Attention! There's a herd of killer rabbits coming. Okay, if I'm
Yeah.
at a drive-in, I'm putting down the weed and and saying, "Did he just say rabbits?" you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
but everybody follows them.
There's killer rabbits headed this way.
Yeah,
Who back in the 70s wouldn't have looked at that guy and went, really did?
yeah. Let's follow him. There's
Yeah.
rabbits, bunnies, man.
Killer rabbits. And nobody questioned this guy.
No,
You know, I mean, nobody looked at this guy and went, "What? Why didn't you just go there and say, hey, there's an emergency. We got to get everybody out of here. Just follow the National Guard out." That's all you had to say. Not, there are killer bunnies headed this way. He literally says there's a herd of killer bunnies or killer rabbits headed this way.
nobody questions. Nobody questions
Nobody.
this in the entire movie. I'm so sorry. This is a bad fucking movie.
This is just poorly written. There was another thing. They mutated awfully quick.
They did.
Like
Like within a
less
day.
than 24 hours, man. Those things were mutated. They got big quick. And there wasn't just like, if it would have been just one big mutated bunny, I'd have went, okay, I can get that. And if it was pregnant at the time, I'd be like, okay, just had 20 other bunnies
No,
or
it was in
whatever
a day.
rabbits do. But that one bunny that they put in the hole wound up mutating every other bunny around it. Never explained how the hell that happened.
I assumed they were babies. But man, how did that happen in a day?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, they never said that girl's little bunny was pregnant. They just, well, they all mutated. Well, that was fast and convenient for our story plot.
And
Let me
there was
write that
what?
down.
Several hundred?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like 100. There was over 100 of them, right?
Yeah.
Ah, what was else? Oh, another talking about tropes. Another bad movie trope. Let's not notify the authorities right away that there could be a problem,
Oh
that
yeah.
there could be some mutated killer being, or just something that we don't know what it is killing people. Let's go investigate all on our own and try and solve this problem by covering it up.
Every time,
I'm
dude.
sure that's illegal.
Every time. And here's the sad thing about that trope. They may do it in a lot of movies, But damn it, if that's not accurate, exactly how somebody would have acted, even today, I ain't telling anybody. Yeah,
On one hand, I can kind of see nobody's going to believe that we created these killer bunnies. But you don't have to tell them that they're killer bunnies. You can just go, dude, there's something out there. We don't know what it is, but we're finding dead bodies. You should probably come take a look.
yeah, exactly,
And just do a
exactly.
complete deniability. Well, did you create these things, Dr. Crazy? Not at all.
No,
I
no.
don't know why you think I would do that, just because I
Oh,
don't blink when I
I just
talk.
love that the public health department happened to have a serum that did this, and they just sent it right over. Hey, test this. There's a whole
Oh,
nother movie behind that one.
oh yeah. Like you, what else is mutated in this town? Gophers? Don't give me any ideas, man.
I usually,
I'm all right.
I usually give movies a lot of slack, based on or look at them and say, could this be done better today? No, no, no. My biggest problem with it is, yeah, don't choose cute bunnies to be your killers. It doesn't work.
Just don't. Of all the animals out there that they could have chose, I mean, they could have chose lizards. They could have
Squid,
chose what?
squid
A squid. They could have chose a squid,
in the desert.
Indian squid, something. Oh, I just what did? How the hell did they talk Janet Leigh into doing this movie? Was it in her contract? Did she have a contract to do X amount of movies
She
before she
must have.
retired? Because that's all I can think of is that she's like, I only have one more movie left with MGM. Thank God I'll be out of my contract.
Yeah, I don't care what it is. Killer
What the
bunnies,
hell
sign
is
me up.
this? Fine. I just want out of my contract.
This type of movie has been done a lot, with the
Bunnies?
mutated. Well, yeah, with the
Bunnies?
mutated, you had alligators, there's spiders, eight-legged freaks, is one. But one of my favorite giant spider movies, if you haven't seen it, is Big Ass Spider.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen
Oh
it though.
my God, it is so full of tropes on purpose,
Yeah,
and it's almost a working parody of it. It is
right.
so funny, but you know, this is back in the 70s. You had these 70s and 80s. You had alligator. Wasn't there like a
Yeah, yeah,
killer
yeah.
bees?
Chud, whatever the hell those things were under the.
Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers, maybe?
Yeah, that was like they were in the sewers, right?
Yes.
Yeah, nobody knew what the hell
I
those.
think that needs to go on our queue.
God. Okay.
Piranha. So
Okay,
those
piranha.
those were this was kind of, I think, falling into, hey, we're making all these little monster movies of natural creatures.
Right.
Let's do this. And somebody said, bunnies. And for somebody with money said, okay.
What's the one thing that nobody's made yet? Killer bunnies.
And nobody stopped to think why
And
or if
nobody,
they
yeah,
should.
nobody thought to think, no. Nobody at MGM went, no, you don't make killer bunnies. They don't, no.
There's a Jurassic Park reference here. It's not whether you can, it's, should.
Matter of fact, I used that reference when I was talking to the wife yesterday when we were talking about this. I said, nobody stopped to think. I said, Malcolm wasn't there to tell him, they never thought whether they should. They just thought whether they could.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what
I
MGM
actually
thought.
used Malcolm's. It's sad. Uh,
Oh my Jesus.
uh, did wardrobe run out of hats that actually fit anybody?
I did
Not one
not
of those
catch this.
people's cowboy hats fit. It's like they were all made for midgets
Oh damn.
or little kids, and even the little kid's hat didn't fit. The little boy that was with the little
Yeah.
girl who took the rabbit and said, "I don't like rabbits," and then threw it down the hole and went, "Oh, I'm
They
sorry."
ate my chickens.
Yeah, well,
All right, Jed, get on out of here.
rabbits don't eat chickens. Just, just saying.
No, they don't.
No, no, they don't.
No.
Sorry.
So they could have done Night of the Foxes. I don't know. That would have been a whole different movie.
All they had to do was call them the Brits in their red coats and their horses and their dogs.
Yeah. Okay, this is one of the I'm going to tear this apart, but then I'm also going to applaud it. Okay. They had to find a way to show these rabbits attack.
Right.
So for a brief second, you actually get to see an actor in a rabbit suit.
I know. Where did they get it? The local Sears from the Halloween costume or the Easter parade? I was waiting for the basket to be held.
I'm surprised that they didn't have an Easter basket. But here's the thing. You saw all of that. You just made that reference, and I saw it too within less than a second. They hardly showed that, but man, it was such a bad costume. It shined through all of that, man. Oh my God. But
And you know there was a lot more to that shot than what they wound up showing.
oh yeah.
Because they were trying to do the alien thing where don't actually show the monster until the end, and
Yeah.
that works perfectly. Not for killer bunnies.
No. No, and I didn't know rabbits were carnivores.
No, they ate everything. They killed everything. They were just mean bunnies. They were
They
just
ripped open cans. They
mean
liked canned
bunnies.
food. Um,
They liked beans, Franken beans, evidently.
yeah. So not only did the drug mutate them and make them bigger, it made them carnivores. So that was interesting.
Oh,
I think what hurts the most on this movie is
it was made.
why. It was what? It was made? Yeah, it was made. How about electrifying the train tracks?
Oh God.
Yeah.
How about the special effects on that was so bad?
And
Not
it
only
wouldn't
did
stop.
no bunny could possibly jump, no 8-foot bunny could possibly jump over those train tracks.
No, they were just going to pile onto each other and
They
die.
were just going to walk onto the train track. The one spot where they're not hopping, they're just going to walk onto the train track.
Yeah.
And then the bad special effects, you can see the wire that was sparking,
Yeah.
the wire that was all in front, that line. It's
Right.
like at some point the special effects guys just looked at each other and went, nobody's going to see this movie anyway. So
Right.
why the hell are we doing a good job? Let's just screw it. Let's just go on to the next one.
I've seen worse special effects.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They tried, and I can let it go. It's just this story was so freaking ludicrous. It just
Well, every turn, like when they go into the cave, they go into the cave to look for the freaking rabbits. The mother forking rabbits. Why are you going to go look for something that you think has just slaughtered at least 2 to 3 people
right.
and eaten them? And you're going to go into a cave where you think there might be hundreds of them to get a picture with a flash,
Yeah, it's not like you pull
and
out your
one
iPhone today.
rifle, and one freaking rifle, and a cowboy hat that doesn't fit.
Right.
Let's
Good
go into
God.
this cave. Bob, are you sure you want to do this? Yep. Well, I'm with you too then.
I'm
No,
going.
I'm sorry, man. You and I are good friends, but if you're going into a cave filled with killer bunnies and you're like, come on, Dave, we're going to go in there and take pictures, I'd be like, no, you're going to go on your
No.
own. I'm waiting out here with your wife. We're going to blow that cave. If we hear one scream, we're blowing the cave. I'm sorry, dude. You better not scream on your way out either.
That
Button's getting pushed.
that checked the box of tropes for white people shit.
What is with white people doing shit like that?
I'm going in the cave.
You know what? I'm Eastern European. My descendancy comes from Eastern Europe. We're very superstitious people.
For good
So
reason.
I'm not falling under the white people trap here. I'm a superstitious lot. I believe in vampires, werewolves, witches, gollywoggles. You throw it out there. If they're in a room, I'm not going in there. Not without a crucifix and some holy water.
Exactly.
And a mutated bunny isn't going to be affected by either one of those things, so I'm not going in there.
No. Huh. Let's go in and take a picture
With a flashbulb.
and cause a stampede.
Oh God, it's so bad.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you already hit the one thing that I had written down. They actually had a guy in a bunny costume.
Yeah. I had read that before we watched, so I was keeping my eyes open, and man, it happened a few times, and it
Yeah,
was fast. And I
and
realized, like you said, they probably took shot a big scene and said, "Oh shit! I
yeah,
mean, this
somebody,
movie's bad,
thank
but we
God
can't
the
take it."
editor looked at that and went, "You can't, this movie's bad enough, but
Yeah,
you cannot use a guy in a bunny costume."
but you know what? Now that I think about it, they probably should have.
They should have just went comedy on this.
They should
I'm
have went
telling you right
all the
now,
way.
I thought about halfway through this movie, I was like, they should have just went full tilt comedy and just, that would have worked then.
Yeah.
Janet Leigh playing Janet Leigh in this movie would have worked. Would have been great for humor.
Yes.
But they didn't. They tried to play it straight. And poor DeForest Kelly, he's like, I've fought killer monsters and stuff before in Star
Damn it!
Trek.
I'm
Yeah,
an
I get
actor,
it.
not
Damn it, I'm an actor.
not a scientist.
I was happy that he didn't get killed.
Yeah.
I was expecting DeForest Kelly's character to get killed at one point, so I'm very happy that he didn't.
Well, there was that poor bastard in the mine who got killed.
Twice,
I mean, he got
twice.
attacked, and then he got attacked again, and it's like, why?
Well, the second time they got him, but that was his
Yeah,
own fault.
it was, but it's like, oh, you poor bastard, you got
Yeah,
saved just to get killed again, or killed first
yeah.
time. Yeah,
And it's worth repeating. MGM released this travesty of a bunnyocalypse. That's how I would pronounce it, bunnyocalypse.
Bunnyocalypse. Damn, I can't even say it. Wow.
Wow. I would just like to have the money that they spent on this in today's dollars.
Yeah.
I wonder how much that would be. I would love to find out what they spent and then figure out the math. Because
It's probably a few million,
it's got to
easily,
be in today's money.
easily. And they didn't get their money out of it. I mean, yes, they did. I'm sure DVD sales alone to this day, people are buying it.
Well, on
So,
Amazon where we watched it, where we rented it, because this usually we watch folks. Anybody who's nobody's watching this, so why am I going to say it? But I'm going to say it
our
anyway.
wives need to know.
For future, any family member that's watching this. Usually we watch stuff on Prime or Netflix or Hulu, someplace that you can find it for free. But we needed to watch this movie because it's a bunnyocalypse. We
Yeah.
need to see this, so we rented it, and not for $2 or $3, whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
$3.
but yeah, but on Amazon, it's got 4.5 stars,
Right.
so it's got to have some kind of cult following that I'm not aware of. I mean, it's got to be a cult following for people to go, "My God, that's such a great, horrible movie."
Oh yeah, that's it. And that's something for me. No, I'm not going to be that cult follower. I'm not watching it
No,
again. I'm
not
done.
in this one.
No.
No, this
I
was a one-time movie for me, I think.
I
But
I, I will have to give it props for the miniatures team who
I,
built that.
I, you were handing it to the miniatures. I got to hand it to the actors for keeping a straight face. For
Absolutely.
them delivering some of these lines, the way they delivered them, like
Oh, I believed them.
there's giant killer bunnies out there. We got to do something about them. Let's go, Tex.
How could you do that with a straight face?
I don't know. We're gonna have to try something like that. We're gonna have to try like just a skit where it's just so and play it straight. I don't know what, but we're gonna have to do something.
That's a
But
challenge.
um, the miniature. Okay, I did the miniature camera. The National Guard. Well, I got to go back to the National Guard for a moment.
Wow.
Um, they're trying to figure out what to do about the bunnies, and they're talking to the guy that's in charge of the National Guard or whatever state they're in, and he says, "I don't have enough men for that. You're the National Working Guard of this state. You've got the men for this. You've got the firepower. You've got, at this point, you had probably Vietnam vets coming back that knew how to kill things at
Yeah.
some point. or at least knew how to fight something. And boy, they probably would have eaten really well that night because they had killed a bunch of rabbits and taken them home and
Oh
stewed
my
them.
God, yeah.
You just get a bunch of country boys out there with guns. We're going to go hunt rabbits, and they're really big.
Seems like it would have been an easy thing, right?
Seems like it would have been an easy thing, but they went to the theater. They went to the drive-in. They got all those people to line their cars up with their killer bunnies headed our way speech, which we've already talked about. But then they line them all up, men, women, children in cars with their headlights in one direction for whatever the hell reason, and they put all these people's lives in danger
Yeah.
for
Roll
these
your
giant
windows up.
killer bunnies. Roll up your windows, you'll be fine.
Yeah, it's just some rabbits.
And still people are sitting in their cars like, what the hell are we doing here? Did he say killer bunnies?
They never quit. They followed them all. No, that's not happening
I
if I'm at the
drove
drive-in.
home. I'd have been like, screw you. Giant killer bunnies I'm not getting any part of.
They shot this movie pretty quickly, I bet you. So many reused assets, the scenes with the stampede. Even anytime they were driving down in traffic, they passed the same houses over and over again.
Yeah.
The drive-in was right downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Right there. Right. And why were the killer bunnies headed to town?
because was canned food.
Did they have a can opener?
They didn't need that because they had yes, they had.
But I was trying to figure out, and they never explained why the bunnies were headed to downtown. Like, why were they headed to cities and towns and little outskirts and houses? Why? There was
Why
no
you gotta
reason.
ask questions?
Why were they not just out in the fields doing what the bunnies were doing normally?
Now that would have made a whole nother movie.
Yeah, it would have made sense because they're bunnies out in the field, hanging out, doing bunny stuff, romping
Earl, take a
around.
look at this.
They're giant bunnies romping around out here. I've never seen a bunny that big.
Yeah.
Conveniently got rid of the wife and kid at one point in the helicopter.
Yeah.
Oh, they're in the helicopter. They're go by.
Oh yeah, they weren't. There's nobody in that helicopter except the pilot, but that's okay.
It's like you couldn't have done that in the first place. I'd have left with them.
Yeah.
Well, I've created this mess with my daughter. Have a nice day.
Yeah, I'll stay here. Why?
Bye. I gotta go. What else?
I don't know what else to say about it.
Well, no, I got a couple of questions still. I still
Sure.
have notes, man.
Let's hear it.
Why did the kid lock the camper door? When at the end, when Janet Leigh is getting surrounded by the bunnies and she's pulling out the little
Flares.
the flares and throwing them at the bunnies and catching them on fire, which who knew a bunny was that flammable?
They must have rubbed themselves with gas or something.
Gasoline, boy, they went up quick.
Yeah, they
But
did.
the kid locks the door on the camper. And I'm thinking to myself, do the bunnies have a key? Do they know how to open a door? No. They're gonna shred that camper with their bunny claws.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter, other than locking Janet Leigh out so she can have something to panic for. But they didn't even use that trope. There was just the kid locked the door and screamed out the window that I just wanted to punch that kid in the head. Stop screaming out the window!
Yeah,
I'm not panicking up as it is.
That kid was annoying, and that the flaming bunny scene was used twice. Again, we got to see the same rabbit burn again, and
you can see the strings pulling it up like it was hopping.
It was like a dead fish on the riverbank, and just
God, that was bad. Janet Leigh Bunny Slayer. That's all I got to say about that scene is Janet Leigh Bunny Slayer. She probably killed more rabbits than the guy that was playing her husband, Rory Calhoun. That guy, I don't think he killed one rabbit.
No.
I think he shot a couple, but I don't think he killed any. She took out, what, 2 or 3 with those flames?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. I like that. I've already asked the question about headed to town, and I cannot stress this enough about the National Guard in this movie. They just put everybody's life in danger.
They did.
Notes. Done. That just, why on earth? I would not follow the National Guard, especially if they were telling me there's killer bunnies headed this way. I would look at the guy and go, seriously, killer bunnies? I'm going home. Have a nice day. You can't go home. There's killer bunnies headed to town. Why are killer bunnies headed to town? If you can't answer a simple question, I'm going home.
Yeah, it's nobody asked any questions at all
No, nobody
on
asked any inconvenient questions like, why are there mutated bunnies killing
nothing.
everybody in
It was
town?
just accepted as what was going on. It's like what the hell? It's
Like the one lady's at the store. I guess she was the phone operator in town, and she tells the guys to go look out, and she's standing by the window, and all of a sudden this bunny just jumps through the window and just. They're like, why would that bunny jump through the window? And then Shredder, she's like, ah! Big
yeah,
bunny paw just hitting her on the head. I'm like, that's horrible. Why? Why did this bunny attack her? Bunnies don't attack people. They want
these
to be
do.
fitted behind their ears.
They never explain that. They never explain their need to kill and attack and eat meat. Um,
No,
and their bloodthirst. They never explain that. And again, how did they mutate so frickin' fast?
dude, within 12, I don't even think it was 24 hours. I think because the rabbit went down the hole, and then it was, what, later that day that the guy was
Yeah,
getting attacked by the giant bunny, or later that night. It was the first guy that got attacked, I think, was the guy in the cooler truck,
yeah, and it
right?
was that night. Unless we missed some sort of 6 week time jump or
Yeah.
something,
But
it just
I mean, if, for both of us to miss it is,
yeah, I don't think it
I
happened.
don't
I
think
think it
so.
was just screw it.
Bad,
Let's have
bad
it
writing.
big.
We got to speed this up. We got to speed up the horror of this movie that is this movie.
You know,
The expression on your face. I want to hear this, and I hope it's good.
I'm going to roll it into my impressions of this film.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know you did impressions.
Yeah, not good ones like this film. Um, wow, Killer Bunnies.
See, and you said Plan 9 from Outer Space was bad.
This is right there with it. This I don't want to compare and contrast. They're two different things and two different products of their creators. I give Plan 9 a pass because of Ed Wood, even
uh,
though I find it very hard to watch. This I find very hard to watch for different reasons.
right.
Um, I have to applaud the actors, as you said,
Yeah.
for playing it straight and giving it their all. And the miniature team, man, they really tried. They
The
tried to
miniature
make it.
team did a good job.
They made to make it look and give you that impression. Um, this is. I could see this at a drive-in. I
Oh
could
yeah,
see
I'm sure
going.
this was released at a drive-in. I'm
Yeah,
sure this
this
was
feels
total
like.
drive-in.
Yeah, this feels like a good drive-in movie. This probably opened before Orca or something. It's like I'm
Yeah,
down.
yeah,
So
yeah.
having this would be part of a double feature. It's slapped in there, and it's like
Hmm.
okay, it's not great. That's all I got to say about that. It's not great. It's bad. It
It's a
really
bad
is.
movie.
Um, I don't like to shit on a movie, but this one is. This was hard. This
I
was hard.
think
I do not recommend watching this. I don't see any redeeming anything from watching it. I
it's
will say watch Plan 9 before you watch this because there's at least something there
right,
to get. This is just like here's a bunch of money. Perfect example. Plan 9, obviously no money and a
right,
bad
right.
movie. Night of the Lepus, shit ton of money and a bad movie.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
can throw all you got at it and get nothing.
I think the biggest problem that I have is like if this was a movie that was done, let's say by you and I, if we just got together and went, let's make a movie about killer bunnies, this
We
is going to
should.
be great. We'd have probably made it funny, maybe not hysterical to everybody, but you and I would laugh.
Right.
Other people would probably look at us and go, this is the worst freaking movie I've ever seen. But you and I would be laughing. But there would be a reason that it was done poorly. A, we don't have the money. B, we don't have the money.
And then C.
C, we don't have Janet Leigh or
Right.
Rory Calhoun in the movie. this movie being released by MGM is what really kind of gets to me. It's like this, like you said, it had money, it had a backing, it had financials, it had a release mechanism, and how the hell did this movie get made and released? I've seen worse movies, of course, and I have those same questions especially by the bigger houses like
Yeah.
MGM and 20th Century and them. It hurts.
Yeah,
It
it's
hurts. I don't recommend seeing the movie unless it's at a drive-in. Honestly, now because it seems like drive-ins are kind of making a comeback.
which I'm
And
happy
you can go
about.
see bad movies at a drive-in. I think that's what drive-ins are for.
Yeah.
I think drive-ins are for this kind of movie. And it's fun at that point because you're with family and friends and you can sit there and talk about how bad this movie is. And that's it. If it's not at a drive-in, don't rent it. If it's on Prime and it's free, go ahead. Maybe if you have
Yeah,
nothing better to do with 89 minutes, then go ahead.
it
But don't try and make any sense of the movie because I tried and that just yeah
yeah,
no.
that's $3 I won't get back. Uh,
In 89 minutes, three
yeah,
dollars
there's
for 89 minutes of my life.
what was it? The Bob and Doug McKenzie movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
Strange
Strange
Brew.
Brew.
Strange
Yeah.
Brew.
They had that little fake trailer or whatever. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll kiss $3 goodbye or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I did.
that's
I
what you
didn't
did.
cry, but I should have.
But no, yeah, there's nothing really good to say about this movie. I don't even know if it could have been saved in a rewrite or how many rewrites were done before they filmed. Were
I
any rewrites done before they filmed? I don't know.
no, they just I'd like to know what I need to look and see what was coming out during this time to cause them to think that, hey, doing a killer rabbit
Yeah,
movie is going to work. So there must have been some other type of similar genre film kicking around that they wanted to compete against from another
yeah,
studio.
yeah. It's all
That's
those types of movies, like you said. The
yeah.
disaster movies were coming out.
Oh yeah.
The natural disasters, i.e., the mutated monsters
Yeah.
of everything. Bigfoot movies, I think, were popular back then. So yeah, it's all that sort of thing, probably. So yeah. For the wrap up, I'd have to say, yeah, no, unless it's being shown at a pop up drive-in, and you want to see a bad movie, then okay. But you don't. It's just not a good movie.
Oh shit. No. Not at
And
all.
you want to talk about what's coming up next month?
Next month. Ah, yes. Next month. Finally, I guarantee we got some good movies coming. We are going to fire off next month is Patrick Swayze month.
Patrick Swayze month. Yes.
Our first up will be Roadhouse. Thank the gods. Um, I love this movie, so it will be a lot of fun to talk about. I haven't seen it in a while. Um,
Oh, I'm sure it holds up.
it holds up great. It's got Patrick Swayze in it. It's 80s. It's Sam Elliott. We're good. You
Sam
know,
Elliott. I forgot Sam Elliott was in that movie.
yeah.
All right, good, very cool.
Isn't he the other bouncer at the other bar, right?
I'm not sure. I just vaguely
Christ, I
remember him
hope I'm
being
right
in.
and not talking shit here on the podcast. Okay.
He might be, but who cares? Nobody's watching. Only
No,
us and our wives are
check.
watching. I might have a niece watch one of these every once in a while. I don't know.
Right. So thanks again for tuning in to Old Ass Movie Reviews and join us next week when we finally get something better. Until
Patrick
then, have a good
Swayze,
night.
baby.